Dawson. Hello and welcome to.
Oh no!
I knew this was going to happen.
Oh,
That was Jesus. We're having technical difficulties,
Wow.
everyone.
I like
That's
it.
never happened before.
Fun fact: something is going on with the sound bites because this was happening before I did the show, and then I was like, "Fuck it." Not really sure what's going on. We'll do it live, so everybody gets a taste of the technical difficulties. Anyway, welcome to Jabberjaw. I'm your host, Jessica Dawson Collier, and with me, as always, is Tyson Wheeler Dynas and Matthew David Smith. Guys,
Hello.
welcome.
Thank you.
Hello. Thank you very
Hello.
much. It's good to see you
Hello,
guys again.
And you?
Yes. So I want to start off. I would like to start off talking about the package that you got today, Dawson, and the story behind it.
Oh. So I got a very large package in the mail. I had gotten an alert from Amazon that I had received some mail, which is always a fun time. So I'm like, ooh, go to the front door, and there's a ton of packages, and one of them is this very large box, and it's very heavy, and it's clearly from Europe. And so I bring it in, I put it on the table, and sure as shit, I was like, oh yeah, we did order wine from Italy. And I know we had talked about this. So I sent the guys a picture of the box and said, you know how I was wondering if we ordered wine from Italy? Well, and then Tyson responded with congratulations in Italian, which was great because then, when you do it on the iPhone, it sends confetti. So I felt like it really was a celebration. Thanks, Tyson.
I was not expecting confetti, but I did enjoy it. Yeah, because
I saw it great.
Too.
Now, have you actually opened said box yet?
No, so here's the thing. I talked to Jonas about it, and supposedly, like, we went in on 6 bottles with his mom, and she is coming in July when we go to Mexico. So we're gonna wait to open it until she gets here because, it's a thing. So
it's gonna be like a little bit more of a surprise. Like that's what I was kind of getting at. Is like you're gonna be like, what the hell did we buy?
What did we order?
We couldn't even remember purchasing.
Is there olive oil in there too? Right. I'm not sure. Right. We'll find out. So
it's like judgment. Yeah. It's like judgment. It's like captured in time in a bottle. Yeah, like this was a judgment that I made from Italy. In Italy,
why did
it shipped to me? I
forgot
about it.
Why did they order 10 bottles of port? What the shit?
God, I hope not.
I really just hope it's like a ham. I just hope there's a ham in that box. Just a big Italian ham.
It's going to be a very clinky ham if it is. I can definitely hear the bottles shifting. So just hoping everything's okay in there. Yeah. No wet spots. We're good.
I know when we went to, Beth and I went to wine country in California, like Napa Valley, and we went on an all-day drinking wine tour. We went to 5 different vineyards. And we ended up getting 2 subscriptions, so we would get boxes every 2 months or every 3 months. And I was like, wow, do we really commit to this? Yeah, we did.
It's a moneymaker, man. Like, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I loved
props to the people who own vineyards and have drunkards in. Yeah, it works.
It's a beautiful way to sell wine. You're just like, here. Try a little bit of everything we have, and then when you're drunk, let me just put this little clipboard in front of you and see what you think. Oh, look, it's in English.
They're so sneaky about it too. Yeah.
It's like the Columbia House model. It's like,
we'll give it totally is.
We'll get you drunk on music and then destroy your credit forever. There's like lifelong like Columbia House subscribers that just like hung with them for like years and years, and maybe like the ultra wealthy. But I didn't mean to steer this in a different direction. But
it's all right. I tried to scam those systems. There was BMG, there was Columbia, and then there was this one called CD Warehouse, CDHQ. That's what it was called.
Oh, CDHQ.
Which was started by John Oates from Hall & Oates, actually.
Oh,
kind of a weird thing.
So
For real?
you took food out of Oates' mouth?
No, because what happened was I used this. If my parents listen to this, they're gonna have terrible flashbacks. But I used all different kinds of fake names, and I had them sent to the dance studio that my mom worked at, which she owned, and then to my house, and I got so many CDs. But forever now, because I use different names, if you pull up like a credit check or something like that, I have all these different, aliases listed. It's like Tyson Wheeler, Ty Wheeler, T Dinas. Like, I mean, and so that is on my permanent record. So it's like, have you ever been?
Oh my God.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it was bad.
That's actually kind of badass, though, because I've been to like those sites where you just kind of look up like generally publicly information. I have no known aliases like at all. Like at least a couple would be cool, but you have like 9.
I have like 12.
That's not fair. 12. Rub it in.
TW Dinas.
Not to brag.
No, it was not a brag.
DB Cooper over here.
To get me out of that mess, to pay for everything that I screwed up, I didn't get presents or birthday presents or Christmas presents for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, I paid for it, but it was a fun ride for a minute for when I was in 8th and 9th grade.
I would check and see if the statute of limitations is run out, but it might be a kind of a fun book or like a podcast series you could do. Because everyone sort of, I think, could relate to that. I mean, if you like music, like that was a hell of a way to get a lot of it free. And like, $150 worth of music at the, when I was in the 7th grade was like, holy shit. Like that's like,
amazing.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, I kind of miss those little scams, and then you got to buy a John Cougar Mellencamp album for some reason. Cause they sent it to you. It's like, you got to buy 3 more or some bullshit. Anyway, enjoy your wine. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yes,
I will let you guys know in July what's in the box. So stay tuned. Should be delicious.
Oh, so I went and saw the Miami Giants on Tuesday.
Yes,
that was fun.
How was the show?
They're great. I think that's the 8th or 9th time I've seen them since 1995, I've just seen them a lot, and they're always great. They just look a little bit older every time I see them. I will say that we bought tickets for this show in 2019, and we finally got to see them.
Holy
Tuesday night.
shit!
Yeah, that's nuts.
That is crazy pants.
Because they rescheduled it like 3 times, and the last time they had to reschedule it is because John Flansburgh, who's the guitar player, got T-boned in New York City on a share ride, and he broke a bunch of ribs. So they had to reschedule everything after that. It took him like 2 months to recover or something like that. So, but it was great. It's fun. We were right in front of. So Beth's really short, as you guys know. So she's 4'10", and I kind of got. How Matt? It was at the Truman. So which
it was. I was going to ask where it was. Okay.
Yeah. So we got there pretty early. Just because our dinner was terrible. And so we got there pretty early, and they opened the doors, and they actually had a sign that said sold out AF, which I thought was great. But then we went inside, and she went to go buy merch, and I stood back, and she's like, can we move over to the side so I can see? She's like, I don't need to hear the stereo sound. And I'm like, that's fine. You're short. And so we went up, and we got really close to the stage, but we were on the left side. What we didn't realize was we were right in front of the entire left side speakers for the entire show.
Yeah.
So, like that. So, here's a little inside baseball for all you people. Anything lower than 220 megahertz, which is a bass sound, you can't hear that sound, but you can feel that sound. That's that pump sound that you hear, that thump, right? So the first 2 songs, our insides were rattling, because, and it was fine though. Neither one of us has tinnitus, so that's good.
That is good.
That is good. It happens. It does still have a little bit of it, right?
No, I had that. at my cred lowering. I don't know,
I think
no, it
going
was
up.
back in '98. We went and saw KMFDM in Oklahoma City, and similar situation, which like it was KMFDM and with a band unknown to any of us at the time, Ramstein.
Oh shit!
And so
Oh my
Ramstein
god.
opened. I am like the corner of the room is like the stack, and I know, but I'm like 20 years old. I'm like, I know it's loud, but
You don't give a
so
shit when you're
we
that
were
age.
right there,
Yeah.
and at one point, it was actually a really cool show. Like they did this whole thing where there was like one of those instantly inflatable rafts, and they like crowd surfed on the raft. It was pretty cool. It was a fun night, but there was a portion of the show where there was an explosion, and I just remember like it was a loud show, and I could tell that my hearing was like I knew it was gone. I was like, that's bad. And so I woke up the next day and just I could hear nothing, like nothing. And I was scared. Like I really was pretty scared because I was like, well, it did like after 24 hours probably it came. So, but I had like my ears rang for the better part of a decade. It gotten pretty manageable after a while, and you just get used to it. But yeah. Stay away from loud music, kids. Because there's your cautionary tale right there. The price we pay for rock sometimes not quite worth it. But no, I mean you just don't. I mean, and so ever since then I've been pretty cautious about we took plugs to the new pornographer show, which we didn't need to, but you like
right.
same venue, but not like a classically insanely loud band. Different situation. So it's like an awareness.
To Death Cab.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that is happening. What are we? How many days away are we?
We're almost a week out.
A week out, yeah.
Oh, a week and a half for the show, but a week from seeing each other. So
that'd be nice.
I want to say one more thing, but then I want to talk about loud shows. So we were at the Giants. We went to this place to eat, and there was a couple people wearing the Giants.
What place was this, by the way? What do you want to unplug?
You're right.
They're called.
I was curious. Like, if you would have said you had a lovely dinner, I wouldn't have given a shit. But I caught like you had a terrible, and I was like, oh, I gotta ask about that. Like, put it on the list.
So there's this place called Parlor, and it's one of those chef collectives. So they have like 7 different restaurants in one building, right? So you just kind of go. It's like a food court.
It's like a food court. Okay.
Yeah. And a bar and all this stuff. And so we went. And before the show, every like place. So we got there at like 5:30, but every place was catering a party, happening somewhere inside the building. I don't know where. So every restaurant shut down, and they were like, "We're not serving any food right now." And I was like, "Are you gonna keep serving food?" And they're like, "Yeah." So we hung out for like 30 minutes. I finally got to order a chicken sandwich. And the chicken sandwich, mine was pretty good, but they just screwed up the order, but it was pretty good. And then Beth wanted this, it was Vietnamese place, and that place was, they just couldn't get their shit together. And so there was a sliders place, you could just order different sliders. And so I was already done with my meal by the time she got her food. And then she was just like, this is shit. My wife's pretty particular, but it was shit, to be fair. I was looking at it. She was like, it tastes fine, but it was not made with love. It's cold. It's it's like
I mean, B cooks. She's a good cook. Like she knows what's shit and what's not. So I mean,
there were lots of people there. It was very hip. It was very much like this place we go called the Strang Hall, which is right up the street from us. Well,
which is delicious.
Yeah, we ordered near there.
We ordered from there. Yeah.
And so it's very much like that, except that it was just more hipster in downtown or whatever. So we went, and it was cool. It was like 2 blocks from the venue, so we just we parked the car, walk, whatever. Anyway, we were there, and there was this girl, maybe a guy, I don't know. I'm assuming they were binary, but they were wearing a They Might Be Giants t-shirt, and so she's like, "You're wearing a Replacements t-shirt. Like, why are you not wearing a They Might Be Giants t-shirt?" I was like, "Well, I don't know, but like a long time ago, it used to be considered uncool to wear a t-shirt to the band that you're going to see. I was like, it was in this movie.
That's funny.
It was
PCU.
PCU, and I was like, and for a while anyway, that was the thing, And and anyway, we got there, and everybody and their mom was wearing a They Are Giants t-shirt, and like from decades back. Like, I mean, it was like a showcase. It was like, look how old my t-shirt is, And then They Are Giants, they have their own like secret fan club, which is not that secret anymore. But and you get these very specific t-shirts that you can only get through the fan club if you pay like $100, for the thing.
Yeah.
And everybody. And we were standing around, and she looked at me and she goes, I think you're wrong about the t-shirts. And I was like, I should have wore my oldest They Might Be Giants t-shirt. But anyway, it was just a fantastic show. If you get to go see them, they're still just as much fun. Linnell was playing, he was playing his accordion, and they told a story right before he played the third song. He was like, we were playing outside in the rain in San Diego, and it poured. And he said, my accordion fell apart. Like the key started falling off the thing. And he's like, the glue like dissolved and just pieces started falling off. And so he's playing this song, and then he stops in the middle of it, and he fucks up, and he just goes, I'm sorry guys, I fucked up, but I think I have figured out a way to fix this accordion. and then everybody's like, and he's like, I'm sorry, and then he continued on and finished the song, and then he took the accordion off stage, and everybody in the band was like, what is happening? Like it's like the fourth song, and he's just off stage, and meanwhile his partner John Flansburgh is walking around being like, what's going on, what, he's like looking at the audience, he's looking at the band, he's looking at John, and John's off the stage for like a minute and a half, and he comes back, and then he's like, all right, we're gonna skip this next song, no accordion, blah blah blah. Anyway, and then they start talking about it, and they're like, well, this is the shittiest show we've done this entire tour. It's just shit. I mean, the whole show is just shit. And and it was funny. And anyway, in between sets, it was an evening with They Might Be Giants, as we talked about previously on our show. This guy comes out, one of the stagehands comes out and puts the accordion on the stage next to his keyboard, and the crowd goes wild. It was woo! We're applauding the guy, and they got cool. It. Yeah, and so he put it on, and he played a song, and then he's like, our music director, he saw some shit. He was an Air Force Ranger, he was in Da Nang, and they were throwing fucking accordions at him, and he figured out, anyway, he fixed the goddamn accordion halfway through this. It was amazing. Yeah. So anyway, really fun. And I think it might be actually on YouTube. I think I might, so you can actually watch the show. If you look for
I might actually do that.
They Might Be Giants, the Truman.
Okay.
Anyway, so it was worth watching because there were a lot of snafus, but it was really funny. So what was the loudest concert you ever, so was that came after your concert, Matt? Was that the loudest one?
That was very loud. And then Ministry, a couple times I've seen Ministry, they tend to be incredibly loud because I don't go to a lot of metal shows, but like I'm assuming most metal shows are very, very loud. I can't confirm that, but I don't know. that might be stereotyping. I don't know.
When I saw Danzig, they were very loud.
Okay.
Right. You saw Danzig?
Actually, Guar was very loud. I guess Guar was sort of metal. So,
I'd love to see Guar. Damn it.
They don't tour like they used to. Like, man, back in the day, Guar did like 7 tours a year. Like, they always opened up for everybody. It was just like, great. Like, I think I've seen them at least twice without ever actually wanting to see Guar. I've accidentally seen Guar twice because they've opened for. I mean, they're fun. It's kind of ridiculous. It's like ridiculous, mid-90s fun, It's like kids can't relate to.
It's kind of like seeing Primus. That's how I feel about
Primus.
Yes,
you're very cool. Yes, yeah. Primus was fun to see, too.
I saw them at a festival. It was pretty good. They played their first record, which is not like their normal stuff, and people are eating
So aside from They Might Be Giants, what was your loudest show, Tyson?
Weirdly enough, it was Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. I saw them at the Granada.
Oh, shit. I could see that. Yeah.
Definitely. Oh. Yeah.
This band, Hepcat, opened for them. Great band. kind of more.
Guy who is also featured in the movie PCU, I believe, right? Isn't that the guy from
I
Hepcat?
think you're right. Yeah, I
That's it
forgot about that. Yeah,
all. That's those '90s neurons popping, my friend. It's all connected. It's all
it
connected.
was at the Granada in Lawrence, and I was seeing 4 shows that
Excellent.
weekend. I saw the Lemonheads with Frosted open for him, which Frosted was Jane Weedland's side project. And Jane Weedland
Hmm.
actually stood next to me during the open act, and
Whoa.
she's like 5'5", or she's like 4'5". She's really short, and I was
Did you
just,
see anything to her?
oh my god, no! I was
Right.
so
Oh,
fucking
okay.
freaking out. I was like, oh my god, Gene Whelan is right here. And I mean, I should have, but and this band TV50, which I really used to like, the local band. Anyway,
I actually no TV. I saw TV. Oh, I'm gonna rack my. Were we at the same show?
I don't know. Lemonheads were the
I didn't
headliners.
Still
know
together?
you. No.
No,
This is
we
a
didn't
different
know.
show.
No.
I know I saw TV50 open for someone at some point, but
Yeah, they were. This
proceed.
was the bottleneck, and so it was. It was a weird weekend. It was Friday was the Lemonheads. Saturday was Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Sunday was Weezer, Super Drag opening.
Nice.
And then Monday was Sunvolt.
Okay.
Oh,
It
thanks,
was
Sunvolt.
it was 4 shows in a row. It was amazing. But anyway, this is like in 1996, and I was geeking out. Anyway, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones were so loud. I mean, so loud. I was just like, this sucks. Like, I mean, I had to move back into the very center of so I was just getting not
Yeah.
bombarded with. I mean, and I've seen.
All of it. Yeah.
I mean, I've maybe seen 1,000 bands, in all my life of opening and playing and all that stuff. Um, but that were the loudest, easily. Dawson.
Oh my god. I mean, I've seen bands like Nine Inch Nails, they were loud. Portishead was actually pretty loud.
Really?
Um,
I wouldn't have
yeah,
thought
they
that.
were. I think it was more like the acoustics in the venue that we were at. Like the sound guy just sucked. Um, and then I think the loudest show was probably Deerhoof. Have you guys? I also saw them at the same festival. Have you guys listened to Deerhoof at
Yeah,
all?
yeah, I like Deerhoof. I mean, I'm not.
I mean, some of it gets pretty freaking weird, but
Yeah,
like, and we were also super hungover because it was at all tomorrow's parties, like that festival in New Jersey, and it was in Asbury Park, and it was after we were hanging out with like Steve Albini and like all of the guys doing their like poker party or whatever,
yeah,
like literally all
Oh,
night.
that's so
So we
cool.
were just like hung over. They were playing at a weird time at like 1 or 2. And then they just started like blasting everybody. And we were just like, holy shit. My friend Jackie and I were like, I'm going to throw up if I stand here any longer. Like, we got to go. It's too fucking loud. I just remember that show in particular was super loud
I know that
and not
when
great.
we went to Riot Fest, like the first inaugural Riot Fest, they did 3 shows, one in Chicago, and then one in outside of Denver. It was like there's like a carnival place outside of Denver. It's like halfway
Mm-hmm.
between. Do you know what I'm talking about? I can't remember where it is. Anyway, like they just do shows there, and we were watching Superchunk, but we had these like I'm sorry, you guys both know I'm VIP passes all the way. That's just how I fucking
I know.
roll.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I fucking hate
It's the
festivals.
right way to do it.
It is. I mean, it's just easier, and any festival I'm not going to go to unless I get some level of VIP. Anyway,
Sure.
which is why I don't go to a lot of festivals. Anyway, Beth and I were standing in front of pretty much the speaker stack, and that's the first time she ever felt that kick drum in the chest,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
oh,
she
yeah.
doesn't like because she feels like that's messing up her heart rhythm, but which it might be.
Probably.
But
Yeah.
that was probably the second loudest one I was there. But anyway,
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not fun for me. Like I remember going to Ozfest in 2002 and OTEP was on and like a couple of my guy friends I was with, they were like, "Let's go in the mosh pit. Let's get up right by the speakers." And I'm
Who?
like,
OTEP?
"Have fun." OTEP. Have you ever heard
Uh,
of them?
I
I
have,
don't
Terrible.
think
All
I
of
so.
those
have,
bands are like,
I have.
it's bullshit heavy. Like
Yeah, yeah.
and even like Rob Zombie was there, but he was actually in the Coliseum and that was loud and like it was so off. Like the sound in that show was so off that he actually pulled the sound guy out from backstage onto the stage and was like, "This is the guy that's fucking up your show," and proceeded to kick his ass in front of the entire crowd. Like literally kicked his ass.
Oh my
This
God.
guy was like crawling off the stage, and the crowd was like, "Yeah!" I mean, it was dumb. Everybody's high as hell, but yeah,
that's terrible.
Yeah, it was awful.
I mean, they suck, and like you can't blame the sound guy for years.
Great. Yeah.
Wow, and they beat him up. They beat this.
That's
Jesus
fucked
Christ,
up.
It was so messed up. I was like,
Ozfest, I'm not surprised. I'm shocked.
After that, I saw Ozzy Osbourne. He mooned everybody. It was very cute. I loved it for the most part.
Say what you will about ICP, but at least at their festivals, their family, and it's
that's right.
And, so
one time Bring Back Joe played
Juggalo Love.
One time Bring Back Joe played a festival at Daytona, and we were on the second stage. But the first, it was so weird. We did not fit in at all. Like Disturbed was there, Jimmy's Chicken Shack. I will say that Jimmy's Chicken Shack was by far the most bare-breasted show I'd ever seen. Like it was like
oh really?
Yeah, like just so many like undesirable tits to see. Like it was this weird. Like I didn't need to see that. I don't want. But I mean, it was crazy. It was like. But they were loud. They were very loud. But I expected that. It was Daytona Beach.
This is a very odd. If it was anyone else, I would be like, I'd find this like a weird. Oh, that's a weird coincidence. But it all makes sense in the end, like I said. But like, I also had a comment about Jimmy's Chicken Shack that I thought of from earlier today, as I was mowing the lawn over my lunch break, and and I was listening to the Do Right. That's a single, right? Do Right.
Yeah.
And I always get them and Stroke 9 mixed up.
Yeah, because Jimmy
exactly the same Self Life. Like it was the same summer. It was like end of summer, huge. Nobody fucking remembered who they were by the end of like summer of '99. It was the weirdest thing. But that is, have your interns on it, but that has to be the worst fucking album cover I've ever seen in my life. It's like a drawing of like them like driving a convertible.
Producers. Yeah.
It's awful. It's because it came up on my iPhone. I was like, that is legitimately like the worst album cover. Because like there are bad album covers, but like they're dated and that's not quite fair. But
yeah.
Completely, it's an awful album cover. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Maybe I was dehydrated. I do not know. However, my lawn is mowed. And
one time I did a dive on Stroke 9. Just to find out what happened to those guys. They were one hit wonder, right? And they only put out one record, and and what happened was I found him on Facebook of all places, and he was not Facebook, sorry, MySpace, and he basically took all the guy who wrote that song took all his money, bought a bar, and then is a hero at that bar. Like he's living the dream. Now he cashed out. He's like one hit wonder. He's like took his money.
That's like the best outcome for like 99% of musicians. Like that's awesome.
I mean, Matt and I used to joke about the fact that we would just be alone forever, and then at some point we would just start co-managing a Hooters. And
did we have this conversation? I don't know.
Yeah, we definitely had that conversation because I wouldn't have thought of that.
Just agreed to co-manage.
No, that was your idea, buddy.
Right.
You were like, it's just a step up from a strip club. It's perfect.
Somebody's embarrassed.
No. I do remember this conversation because we were talking about they actually did this. No, I remember we were talking about Hooters Air.
That's right. Yeah, we were.
Did it? We were joking about it. How that would be a huge thing because they were taking smoking away, and they were just like, let's just do this airline where like it's like air sin, and you just do all the bad stuff. But it's hard to shit ton. And like a couple years later, like literally there was Hooters Air. It was like yes. Yeah. So we're always
well, I mean, we just had capital, buddy. We just had capital.
Yes, that's the problem.
Well,
yes,
also, I mean, Hooters Air lasted like a minute, so
it wasn't a great idea. So I'm not sure why we're talking about it. I'll take that as a demerit. Yeah, not a good idea. Yeah, it was the economy. It was like 2005.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we were younger. We didn't know what we were doing.
We were like 22 years old.
That's right.
Yeah.
We still. I mean, at 22, I still just wanted to just have a bar. I just wanted to have a seat at my favorite bar with my name engraved on the back of it, a little plaque.
I remember that. Yeah. Yep.
So,
yeah.
So,
You too. I can't breathe.
Oh, it's good to have dreams.
It is.
It's great
Important.
to have dreams.
Important.
So
That's important.
You guys want to do some headlines?
we should probably
It's
do
been a
that.
minute. Do you have
Yeah, it's
a
been a minute.
million?
I have quite a few, but not like a ton, and I've got like some that I want to skip. So like I just like I don't want like for my own like health, I don't want to talk about them.
That's
But
fine. I mean,
Okay.
I'll go. Yeah, I'll go first.
We've got to have some overlap because there have been a couple weird things that happen. So
I'm not playing the soundbite because they're all messed up. So
Okay.
Tice, go
oh
ahead.
man,
Well, I have this backup one, and this is from The Cut, which pops up all the time for some reason on my Apple News feed. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it, but it is very interesting read. The title is King Charles is way weirder than you realize, and it's basically a list of 9 things that he is really fucking weird about. And
I'm actually really excited that you read this and get to summarize
I am
it for me
too.
because I saw this headline and I was like, oh.
What are the weirdest?
Okay, well,
Can
okay.
you
So
summarize?
he's a real freak for eggs. There's somebody in here said that there's a rumor. Let's see. Here's a his eggs had to be boiled for exactly 4 minutes. It was never anything other than a 4-minute egg. I always kept 3 pans boiling just to be safe. So, so he's very picky about his eggs. He's also crazy. He eats mostly from his garden. He's a vegetable guy. He wants
That's all right.
wax poetic about his existence as his wife's tampon. That's pretty interesting.
That is true. Yeah, I've heard
Have
that,
you heard that? Yeah.
unfortunately.
When
Yeah.
Queen Consort Camilla was not Charles's wife, but his longtime mistress, he once privately declared that he would accept reincarnation as a tampon if it meant he got to live inside her trousers and be with her all the time. So freaky.
I love seeing Smith's face hearing that for the first time.
It's just romance in a different light.
Yeah,
That's all.
it's English romance, man.
Yeah, I mean they're fucking caustic
They're
by
into
nature, but
incest and
holy
tampons.
shit! Wow,
They don't really understand sexy talk.
Apparently not. No.
Relatedly, yes, he did cheat on Princess Diana for many years. Okay,
Yeah, he's a fucking asshole. Sorry.
He loves soap.
Sorry.
That's okay. He
Not
loves
really.
he loves soap operas. Well, she cheated on him too. It was a two-way thing, you know.
He just shouldn't have gotten married, but that's
They
a whole
really
other
should
subject.
not have gotten married.
No.
He loves his soap operas. He's addicted to many soap operas. He has a lot of opinions, which is unusual, even frowned upon in his job, which actually kind of makes him more interesting. They said a biographer, acquaintance of Charles, he has a curious and capacious mind, a talent as a consummate diplomat, an independent spirit, and a love of learning that makes him something of a know-it-all, keenly sensitive to violations of protocol. So I know there were a lot of headlines, I don't know, around the time of his coronation that were headlines like, is he going to keep his mouth shut? You know, can he not, talk and get himself in trouble? And apparently that is a genuine concern. He has distinctive handwriting. His handwriting is fucking terrible. You should look it up.
Well, look at his hands. His hands are like sausages that are about to explode.
They nicknamed his handwriting
Got a lot of stuff to Google right now. I had not.
Just Google King Charles's hands.
They said they have nicknamed his handwriting Black Spider Memos.
Yeah. Actually, sausage came up before hand did. Oh dear,
it's not good.
Oh, those are like those
if
are
I cared
like
about him, I would worry about him.
Those are Vienna sausages. Oh, those are.
They are.
Look at that ring. That ring is gonna poke an eye out when that thing bursts.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's I know it's petty, but goddamn, that's funny.
Okay with petty.
He speaks Welsh. He's not fluent, but he does try. I think he was named like he was the Prince of Wales. So he learned it. He presides over a
He
model.
was the Prince of Wales, but he was semi-fluent in the language of the
Well, I
country.
mean,
I
he learned
love
after he
love
became
the
the prince of
aristocracy.
after he became the Prince of Wales. He decided to learn Welsh, which good for him. He presides over a model village that he personally designed. It's called Poundbury, and strange soup of traditional architectural styles. But even though some critics have dismissed the Dorset project as a feudal Disneyland or a modern day version of Marie Antoinette's, oh my God, I don't even know how to say that. It is actually said to be a fairly nice place to live. Rigid rules aside, no TV antenna, no satellite dishes, no painting one's home, a new color without His Majesty's permission. So sounds kind of like a Disney property. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he also
It's like
owns,
Celebration Florida, only
yeah,
like
exactly, yeah.
that's weird.
He also owns the seabed, just the bit surrounding the UK, as is the sovereign's privilege, but still, so he owns the seabed. He knows how to breakdance, sort of, and there's a video out there, and I'll send it to you after after the show of him.
Hard pass.
Hard, oh, it's worth watching. He's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Okay.
sort of knows how to breakdance. He never travels without his custom leather toilet seat. All right. He's supposedly very picky.
Again, a lot to Google tonight.
Yeah.
There's a lot there. Yeah.
He's very picky. Exhibit A, he allegedly needs the special ice cube tray. His special ice cube tray because he cannot stand the quote clinking sound that square ice cubes make, and therefore requires a different, more melodious shape. And his yeah, and his favorite bog roll is Kleenex velvet lavatory paper. I guess bog roll is toilet paper.
Toilet paper. Yeah.
He has a temper. That's cool.
No shit.
Yeah.
Mm.
He was an early advocate for environmental vigilance, which is true. That's kind of interesting. And his sports car runs on cheese. All right, let me just I'll read this part because this is or more exactly, cheesy byproduct. He has converted his vintage Aston Martin to run on quote surplus English white wine and whey from the cheese process unquote biofuel that the Guardian reports could actually quote do more harm than good end quote if you were if it were adopted on a wide scale. I don't think we need to worry about that one though. He plays music for his cows and shakes limbs with his trees. He's a big guy. He sings to his trees and his plants. He doesn't eat lunch, apparently. He may accept payment in grocery bags full of cash. This is pretty interesting. Last summer, I got out that Charles once accepted 3 cash payments of 1 million each from Sheikh Hamad bin Hasman bin Yaber al Thani. I'm sure that's not right how I pronounce that.
Why is this buried at like number 17 when like leather toilet seat was 11? Like Jesus, that's not fair.
This
Like,
guy, this guy was the former prime minister of Qatar. I did pronounce that correctly. Thank you. On behalf of his charity, when I say accepted, I mean personally in bags. Quote, one time the money was stuffed into plastic shopping bags from the luxury Chelsea grocer and department store Fortnum and Mason, which holds a royal charter from the prince. Another time the money was in a suitcase, and the third time it was in a hold all, which is to say a duffel bag. But yeah, remember the little bags with money signs on it? Yeah, they got paid like that. Oh, he has a much longer name than you might originally have thought. He is Charles Philip Arthur George Mountbatten Windsor, or King Charles III, by grace of God, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of her other realms and territory queens, head of the Commonwealth, defender of the faith. That is his full name.
Jesus.
Right, so when all that stuff was happening, that was my favorite thing I read about it. This is from People magazine. Giant snapping turtle dubbed Chonkosaurus spotted
I love Chonkosaurus.
in Chicago River. I love Chonkosaurus too, Matt. I'm a big fan. This is the
I saw the
biggest.
picture. He's adorable.
He's the biggest, scariest goddamn.
I haven't seen Chonk yet.
Oh my god, he's a snapping turtle, and he's like they're normally like 12 or 14 inches long, and this guy is like
Yeah.
he is like
Whoa, he's massive.
he is a
Yeah.
monster. They don't know how. I mean, they've never captured, they've never caught him, they've never measured him, they've never. But if you look up Chonkosaurus, it's spelled exactly like with a K. Chonkosaurus, sorry, Chonkos source. You'll see this thing, and it is impressive. If,
It
I just thought it
is.
was like the most perfect name ever. Like, rarely do I just immediately agree on it, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that's a chunk of service. It was good call.
yeah.
I don't know whatever community named you, but yeah.
It's funny because like I used to fish a lot in western Kansas, and the worst thing that would happen is that you'd get a snapping turtle that would just,
Big time.
That's
Yeah.
true.
right?
Yeah, you have to cut the line.
You gotta
Seen
cut.
many.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Gotta
like,
cut the line.
and you're just like, you gotta cut the line because you're not getting that back. It's um. This just pisses me off. I don't really want to talk about it, but Florida teacher says she is under investigation after showing fifth grade class Disney movie with gay character. Um, I got into a whole thing with these guys on Twitter, or not on Twitter, on Messenger this week because I looked up the woman who like reported him, who's and like you could dox her if you wanted to in just a second. But anyway, it just sucks. But now they're reviewing it, and I actually saw a follow up thing saying that they're going to interview all the kids in the class to see what they thought. The Department of Education of Florida
Oh
is
my
going to
god.
interview all the kids in the class to see what they thought about the fact that. So anyway, the movie is Strange World, and I don't know if you guys have seen it. I've seen it. It's a very sci-fi kind of thing. It's very much up my alley. But there's
You're not confusing this with the 1990 Strange World film starring Brad Pitt,
I
are
am
you?
not.
Okay.
That
All right.
is less kid
Wasn't that
friendly.
called Cool World?
I'm not.
Was it
Oh,
Cool World?
I think you're
Oh
right.
shit! Cool World.
You're
Sorry,
right.
my bad. Anyway,
Anyway,
say gay all you want, but don't show them Cool World. It's too early. But
I'm
no,
sure cool. I'm sure cool would have been
It's a
fine.
great movie. I love it.
it's fine.
Anyway,
Sorry.
there's this whole thing. Somebody posted on TikTok. Somebody posted on Twitter this last weekend. They're like, they posted a picture of like the letter that got sent to this teacher, one of her friends, and it was like, "Don't move to Florida if you're a teacher." And then
Yeah, no
I thought
shit.
I thought that would be the end of it, and then it's escalated to this huge thing now. And anyway, Strange World is a fine movie, but there's a teenage boy who has a crush on another teenage boy. I mean, there's no anal penetration in this movie. I mean, he has a crush. It's not that bad. So the whole deal is just ridiculous, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. It just pisses me off.
Yeah, same.
I just not to
No, go ahead.
extend it, but I do think that like this is the kind of shit where this stuff gets embarrassing, and like it's not going to dissuade those people who aren't, you know what I mean, like they're in their own sort of silos, and it's just going to like there's just going to be media stories like this of like teachers, yeah, and it just let them have that embarrassment. I guess it's not, I don't know, it's sad that they've gone this, for the implications of it all, but like it's going to blow up in their face, hopefully.
I mean, I
A little
hope.
bit.
I mean, unfortunately, like I told you guys, I mean, the teacher's probably going to lose her job, and that woman that reported her is probably going to be governor in 5 years. So
It's probably
Big time.
true.
Yeah, exactly.
this sucks. This is from
Yeah.
CNN Business. Taco Bell is fighting to cancel the Taco Tuesday trademark. Okay, so Matt, I'm going to ask you, who do you think trademarked Taco Tuesday?
It was Taco John's.
That's
in
right.
October of 1989. Yes.
That is absolutely
Get
correct.
the hell out of here.
Actually, I also had a vested interest in this story, so I did.
Oh, okay, there it
I
is.
did look into this, but I did a couple things. I
Amazing.
Googled it and I asked ChatGPT what it thought, and it actually had a very interesting legal opinion, which I'll get to. But go.
Well, I mean, we can talk. I mean, basically, I thought it was interesting for two reasons. Like Taco Bell is like they're probably going to win because Taco Tuesday is used by everybody now.
Everybody, yeah.
And I mean, and Taco John's, according to this article, the CNN Business article, they'll send out letters. They don't sue anybody. They'll just send out letters, saying like, "Hey, that's trademarked. Like, don't do that."
Right.
But like everybody and their mom, even high school cafeterias have Taco Tuesday. So it's
Yeah.
it's like it's just a thing. And so they're probably going to lose their copyright. Their copyright because it is now like a zeitgeist term, right? But
Right.
But that's the thing, though. Did it become a zeitgeist term because it was introduced by Taco John's? And that's what I was trying to. How early? That's what I kind of kicked my head off was like, okay, how early was that term used in something written?
Yeah, so here's the deal. Like I know about Taco Tuesdays, but I never knew about Taco John's until I moved to Lawrence. So I don't know if that makes any difference. But I mean, as far as like if I was a judge or whatever, I'd be like, hmm. And they used to spell out Taco Tuesdays TWO days
Oh, that's
instead of,
just they didn't have any T's.
but they did.
Sometimes they ran out.
But they did actually change it to they trademarked the word Tuesday as they actually spelled. What did ChatGPT say?
No, so it said. I asked it what the earliest use in in a written document or news article the term Taco Tuesday, and it kind of disappointed me. It came up with, and it said that came up with the trademark date, and then it'd say it could not find an earlier reference than that. Now, take it for what it's worth. It's ChatGPT.
Right,
it's very cool, but it's not. But again, I did a cursory look to see like can I find anything older like on newspapers.com. That's actually where I probably should go to check that out because I think that would actually probably settle it. Like I think that's my thing with it, and I'm probably taking this way more seriously than I should. But such is life.
So many people that lived in Lawrence, and I've learned this from many people that I've met, loved Taco John's because Taco Tuesday. It's just
and we
it was
lived. So when I were in college, when I lived with Glendenny and a couple other buddies of mine, we lived like the block in the neighborhood, literally behind Taco John's. So like that place. That was sustenance for us. Like that place was life. And that's not why I'm defending them solely. It is delicious, and I think it, fighting words, but I think it is superior to Taco Bell generally.
No,
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes. Yeah, I know. That's fair.
I don't know. I mean, I've only eaten at Taco John's one time, so I don't know.
That's probably
Has it only been one time?
No,
really?
I've only eaten there one time. Yeah, because
really?
I don't know. When I go out for fast food, it wasn't. I was more likely to eat.
You didn't like the potato Lays, Tice? You were down with that?
I had them one time because I mean there was people were like, "You haven't eaten at Taco John's?" I'm like, "Okay." I mean, I was more likely to go to Spangles than I was to go to Taco John's.
Spangles. I was about to say that I miss Spangles, and I thought more about it.
No,
no, really you don't. No one does.
You know what I liked about Spangles is they had like a 64-ounce diet soda. I thought that, or a soda cup.
Jesus,
it was like I couldn't afford a 2-liter. I could just get one of those things and just use it for the rest of the week. It's great.
I remember when they opened up in Lawrence and they did like a 2-for-1 burger night. I think you lived there at the time. You remember this? It was like a Tuesday. Yep. So obviously they're getting this lawsuit as well. But no, they did like 2-for-1 burgers, and like that drive-through line would be just crazy because it was like 2 like huge burgers, like $4, and it was good times. Wow.
You know the thing, and this is as a little deviation. So I was driving home today from work, and they built a new Whataburger. I don't know if you're familiar with those. They're a type of chain. Yeah. So
8 years in Austin, hell yeah.
I'm sure you do. So anyway, the Patrick Mahomes is a huge fan. That's his favorite restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
I've eaten it twice. I could just care less.
It's not that great.
Whatever, I mean, I think Texas people love it. It's kind of the way
they do.
Kansas people love Brahms for some reason, but myself included, by the way. But
I like Brahms. Yeah,
I do. I like it.
I like Brahms.
But they
also like Perkins. That's another topper.
Yeah.
Perkins. Yeah.
Perkins is good.
I was driving home and they built this one like less than a mile from my house, and it was 4:42, and the parking lot was filled, and there was a line all the way around to pick up burgers at 4:42. I was like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, it's Patrick Mahomes. People. He co-owns like all of them, so like
all of them. Yeah.
I also found
he's gonna do all right.
He's doing fine. I also found out like in our building, he's a spokesman for like something called Share Air or something, and it's like how you get a ride on private jets, and like they're building his new offices in our building, so I might be able to see Patrick Mahomes one day. Anyway, it's kind of neat. This is my favorite headline. This is from. I read this a couple of different places, but this is from the dailyprogressive.com. A driver in Colorado tried to switch seats with his dog to avoid a DUI arrest, police say. All right, I'm just going to read the whole thing, okay? I think this comes from CNN. It does. A driver in Colorado tried to avoid this is one of your neighbors. Awesome.
It is.
A driver in Colorado.
Sounds familiar.
Driver in Colorado tried to avoid a DUI arrest by swapping seats with his dog after being pulled over, police said. The man was stopped by police around 11:30 p.m. Saturday for allegedly driving 52 mile an hour in a 30 mile an hour zone, Springfield Police Department said in a post on Facebook. The driver attempted to switch places with his dog, who was in the passenger seat, as the SPD officer approached and watched the entire process. The male party then exited the passenger side of the vehicle and claimed he was not driving. The man, whom police didn't name, appeared intoxicated, and when asked by an officer if he'd been drinking, he ran away. That's my favorite part of the story. Have you been drinking? Shit! Anyway, he was apprehended about 20 yards from the vehicle, so he's probably pretty drunk. The man was taken to a hospital where he was medically cleared and then booked into the Baca County Jail on charges including driving under the influence of alcohol and/or drugs, speeding, and resisting arrest, police said. The dog was handed over to a friend of the driver while he was in jail, the Post said. The dog does not face any charges and was let go with just a warning.
Thanks for clarifying, Denver Post. Good God.
I do enjoy it. I like it when journalists get a little jokey.
Take some liberty with the headlines.
Why not? That's true. That's true.
Get a little randy.
I'm not going to shit on that.
And finally, the worst marketing idea that's not going to work for at least 30 years. Oscar Mayer's Wienermobile is getting a new name.
I didn't hear about this.
I'm so glad you brought this up because I forgot about it.
Oscar Mayer's Wienermobile.
I don't like this.
This is from CNN Business. Oscar Mayer's Wienermobile is driving off into the sunset. Say hello to the Frankmobile. For the first time in nearly a century-long existence, the famous hot dog-shaped vehicle is changing its name. Oscar Mayer says that the new Frankmobile name pays homage to the new recipe for its hot dogs rolling out this summer. Despite the change, the Frankmobile looks largely the same compared to it's the same thing.
You can't pay homage to something new. What the? That's
so basically all it is. They just put a new decal on the side that says
lame. That's lame.
The all beef Frankmobile. So first off, this is not going to work, right? No one's going to call it the Frankmobile. In 30 years, when people have all died or forgotten that the Wienermobile was actually what it was called for 100 years, it might work, but it's just why?
It's a terrible decision.
It is absolutely
just awful. I'm beyond words. I followed one of my proudest, the best drive I ever had into work. Nobody has a good drive into work. I mean, you might see a child laughing or a flower, but fuck that.
It's kind of nice when
I followed for a good 5 blocks around a corner the Wienermobile going to downtown to park my car. And it was one of the most exciting.
It's so exciting, right?
It's the goddamn Wienermobile. It's
magical.
The Frankmobile is a white van. That's the Frankmobile.
It's a Frankmobile. You're right.
Oh.
Yep.
Now twice today I've once on the radio and once on ABC affiliate and then once on something else where an Andy Rooney type reporter was talking about the loss of innocence and the ruining of childhoods and all this stuff. So, everyone's reacting the same way. Young, old, they're just fucking whatever. That's bullshit. So, anyway, it's definitely going to be renamed the Wienermobile in 2 years. And they'll have a big party. It's stupid.
Oh, so they're going to go back to the original?
Oh, no. I'm just saying that the backlash.
You're speculating. You're speculating. You're probably right.
The backlash is going to happen. It's already happening.
For sure. It's already happening.
That's just, I'm not going to
I just texted 3 other friends and I was like, we need to revolt.
I think we need to start a one of those petitions, those online petitions that.
Hey, let's go protest in Hays, Kansas next time we're back.
Oh, now that is actually I actually have that on my list, but I don't. If you've got it on yours, I'm going to let you keep it.
Nope, Smith, you sent that to us, sir.
Yeah,
you go ahead. Yeah,
that was breaking news via my mother, which was kind of awesome. Yeah,
thanks, Ray. That was awesome.
Thanks, Ray. Yeah,
laughed my ass off.
Anyway, that's the end of my stuff. So go ahead.
Yeah, Smith, go into the penis protest.
We'll jump right into it. So actually, there is an article I was pleased to see that the Hays Post had posted a pretty in-depth.
I need to look this up.
It's one of them. I mean, this is, I don't know if it's like Pulitzer quality, but it's a very long article, and there's a lot of very good, but seriously, like it's a very long article. So kudos to James Bell of the Hays Post. But basically, yeah, so there's this organization called Bloodstained Men, which apparently you don't actually have to be a man. They're all inclusive, which is cool. But they are promoting the non-circumcision of men. And so it's kind of their thing. And so I think they're based out of New York. I actually looked up their I think their website is wearebloodstainedmen.com, which pretty sure they didn't have to buy from anybody. And basically they say they go on like 60 cities a year, and they wear these white jumpsuits.
Yeah, that was weird.
Blood-stained crotches,
so
and they
strange.
wear signs. And it really, the words don't do justice, but I'm just going to read some of the signs.
We'll post some pictures later.
Yeah, circumcision, penis mutilation. Circumcision destroys 16 plus functions. Stop cutting baby penis. It's cruelty to boys. So it's an interesting activist organization. I'm glad they made their way to Hays, Kansas. As with Brahms, they're branching out. They're going to Lawrence, I heard. That's why I mentioned that. But
that's like the birds aren't real thing. But anyway,
yeah, kind of. But like, apparently it's been around for a few years, and they've got. And I don't know. Like, it's a weird. I'm not sure I agree with their tactics. I kind of agree with the message.
Well, I mean, I read it to Beth, and Beth's like, "Well, it is mutilation." And I'm like, "I know it is, but I don't want to fit in."
So like, it's kind of weird. Like, it's weird, but like in a town like Hays, Kansas, like I don't know, they might Google that shit, and
Well, my grandson has kept his foreskin because that is more and more happening, more and more. Unless you're Jewish.
Yeah, I've heard it is.
Absolutely, yeah. And what I have subsequently learned is that like all the shit about cleanliness and like that's all bullshit.
Yeah,
like that's absolutely made up shit. So I
think we can all agree that penises are pretty dirty just on their own anyway. So we just have to deal with it.
That's a fact.
That's true. So
am I right, ladies? What?
Yeah.
What?
What?
All right.
You know what? I think I think there was what was the name of the thing? Our bloody. What was the name of their organization?
Oh, I closed my tab, Tyson.
That's okay.
It was something like I don't know.
It's okay. It doesn't matter. But I think I saw them.
Like they have they actually have like a I'm not going to call it a manifesto, but like a list of like rights, and it's very interesting. Like they've thought a lot about this. Like I think they've convinced themselves. I'm going to make a judgment here. I know I'm not known for doing that on the show, but
that's fine.
But they I think like everything missing from their lives, they believe got chopped off. I kind of get that sense a little bit. But they've they're. I don't know.
Next
good
up,
message.
Judge
Just on Judge Maddie. God damn, I do want Judge Judy's like rest her soul. I wonder if I can write her a letter.
Oh my God, I was in the doctor's office yesterday, and Judge Judy came on, and I couldn't see the TV. It was the most excruciating. I was like, anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Like it's fine we sidetrack here because basically the deal with that show is like I can call you a moron up to and including for a total of 30 minutes, and you might win up to $10,000.
That's right. Yeah,
that's the whole thing. Like she is allowed to berate the shit out of it, and she enjoys the hell out of it, and it's kind of fun to watch.
And then she's like, "Fine for the defendant. Sorry, I called you a fucking moron."
Yeah, exactly.
Legally, you're correct, but personally, I think you're a fucking dick. So,
All right, I'm gonna keep it light. I had a couple. Well, I'll maybe get into the sad one at the end, but just some fun ones. Lauren Boebert denies claim husband flew into rage after being served divorce papers.
Oh,
really? Of
really?
course he did. Like, apparently, like when they showed up, like the guy. The server, is that what they call him? Like the server, they show up?
Yeah, I think that's right, yeah.
Yeah, they show up to the subpoena. Apparently he like kind of attacked the dude and was, belligerent. And like, I mean, the story, it holds, right? I mean, it all checks out. So anyway, good luck to those two. Was a good reminder, though. I didn't pull up the article, but just a reminder about this dude. He was also arrested for a lewd exposure in a bowling alley. Can't whip it out in the bowling alley.
He'd be a great first lady, first man.
Yes, she would be. She would be.
Actually, just Matt, when he sent us that thing, he's like, "It's such a shame to see all those guns split up."
Yeah, that was good.
That's a good.
That was a nice touch.
Thanks, guys. I save like Tyson says, I save my material for you guys.
Appreciate it.
This one actually, I saw this on the Independent, the Guardian. Which one of those Brit paper jobbies. Kansas man wearing beer costume arrested for alleged drunk driving. Driver dressed as Bud Light beer can was pulled over suspected drunk driving near Topeka, Kansas.
I love Kansans.
So yeah, and there's a photo of him dressed in a Bud Light can, and so I'm guessing he thought he was just being incredibly witty and funny, and he was also drunk, and so he was pulled over going northbound on Interstate 35 by Franklin County.
They took him
50 miles outside of Topeka.
They took him outside of town and shot him because he supports trans rights.
You would hope so. They called up. They called. He actually has a pink baseball hat on, so maybe they just called up. They got Kid Rock on a copter and flew him into Western Kansas and dealt with the issue. This is actually pretty good. Career in law enforcement is exciting, and you get to experience something new every day. Sometimes you don't see things you can't believe. I'm sure it wasn't interesting. There's the Facebook entry on the stuff. It's not always that fun in Franklin County.
I saw two homeless men raping each other. It's like, woo! I put that on Facebook later that night. That was so funny. You never see that. Like, oh.
We just find a way to monetize it. We lost a couple important. Vice News closed down this week. They announced they're closing down. This was a surprise to me. Is MTV News was also closing down. So
that was a shock to me too.
Guessing what this means is like whatever room they've had Kurt Loder in for the past 22 years.
You're free.
He's like, Tabitha, what's going on? Yeah, I had no idea that because that this was even a thing, but this was some write-off bullshit. It's guaranteed that has to be what that was. It's like there's no MTV News. There
hasn't been for a while.
I read something that they got 3 million views every 3 million views with every time they did a thing. That's a lot of views. That's what Arrested Development used to see.
That is a lot of
views. I know. I didn't even know it existed anymore. I have
were they just doing specials or documentaries?
They were. Okay. It's just weird, but no, I had no idea it was still going, and I'm not.
Yeah, I didn't either, because not to go back to the 90s and how glorious it was, because God damn it. But that's how we found out about Kurt. That's what I remember when Kurt Cobain died, was Kurt Loder announcing it. That was a huge, it was kind of where a lot of young people got their news. And I guess they get it from TikTok now, which is fine.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have MTV until I moved to Hayes, so I was 18, or 19 or 18 or something like that. Anyway, but, it was weird because it was it would go. Remember that?
Right. Yeah. It was the original breaking news.
Yeah, totally.
fucking Marilyn Manson got his rib removed, or whatever fucking bullshit. Like, and then
not
sometimes
true.
it'd be like the president has been shot. And you're like, what? Jesus Christ! Well, it's like, okay, I was just watching Yo MTV Raps, and yeah. No, I had no idea it was still there. Now, Vice
Yeah,
News
I
is
didn't
weird.
either.
So Vice News so does that mean all those fucking Vice listicles are going to be gone? Because I keep seeing them.
I don't know, and I don't know what, because Vice is again one of these sort of, which I think this is pretty. I think all these sort of new media companies are going to fucking collapse in like the
I
next
think so
3
too.
years. Like
Yeah.
I just think they're going to go away. Like everyone's like, oh, it's on traditional media, and they got a ton of cash,
Yeah.
and they're all going to collapse. So unfortunately, because I think they really were, Vice especially was a really good individual investigative
They were. Yeah, I think
resource,
they
and
were.
and it's
And
unfortunate that like that's going away because and it's so
there's a certain
plenty to
segment.
NPR folks.
Well, yeah, I know, right? There's a certain segment of like, it's funny. Like, my cousin's husband, they're younger than I am, but not too much younger, and he just watches the Vice channel all the time. Like, I mean, that he's just like, he knew about cryptocurrency, and then like, also, like, if you ever looked at the lineup on Vice, to chat, I don't know if you guys have the Vice channel, but it's
Yeah.
it's it's mostly ridiculous with some very serious stuff shoved in there in the middle of it.
Well, they have like a show. I think their biggest mainstream thing was, didn't they have like an hour-long show on HBO
They did, yeah.
for a few years,
Yeah,
and that was
they did.
kind of where it originated. It turned into like an entire media company. So that's how shit works.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
So anyway,
I like the idea of Dan Rather riding in on a white steed and retaking his place.
Oh my God, yes.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yes.
that'd be nice. We can
That
do
would
that.
be.
We should do like AI Dan Rather, just him and like Walter
Plug that
Cronkite
in, Smith.
and that old
Plug it in.
crouchy dude. We'll just do the three of them, and it'll be like.
Are you talking about Walter Cronkite?
Yes,
the old crunchy dude. Well, that's so bad. Sorry, the ghost of Walter Cronkite that I.
That's okay.
I mean, you could have been. I guess you could talk about.
Me.
You could have been talking about Andy Rooney. I guess. I don't know.
That's what I was. Yeah, I was talking about. But the ghost too. We'll take the ghost too. Just a couple last ones. What really happened during Prince Harry and Meghan's New York car chase? Okay, so.
Oh, I didn't read
I'm
this.
glad you read it because I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't
me
either.
You didn't either.
But I did read. I don't know what day it was. I think it was like maybe Wednesday morning. Yeah, it must be yesterday or Tuesday morning. Not the store, the news article. That overnight they'd been in this super dangerous car crash with paparazzi, and
yeah, it was very much like a Princess Di, like, read me
type of event.
It
Right?
totally
It was
was.
like
Gross.
this has been in the file cabinet of their people forever.
Okay.
And they've just waited for a time to pull it out. And I'm interviewed. So the article we'll read, it's the interview with the cab driver, because he's basically just like, yes, they were very scared. They were very nervous. And it's like, I'm basically fine. It really wasn't that big a deal. And yes, of course it wasn't a big
New York cab before.
Yeah, like of course it was. I mean, like, I get that they're
Exactly.
celebrities, but like it was like the saddest, like, oh, love me, mommy. Oh, saddest. I can't stand. I don't like them. Either one of them. I think they're just, just. If you're going to take down the monarchy, do it already. You should have ended the whole thing. But no, you failed halfway through. You just didn't get there. And now Prince is king. And yes, everyone's angry at you. And I'm sorry. I just don't. Anyway, and then I'm going to. My other complaint this week is with. I've never said this before, with Anderson Cooper.
Wow.
So it's been a couple weeks. Well, part of the problem is every time I like think of Anderson Cooper, I get Andy Cohen's voice in my head, which is just awful. Yeah, it's terrible. Not fair. It's not fair for Anderson. It's not fair.
He's married to Andy Cohen, right? No, I'm sorry.
They should be.
I don't know. I think. Yes.
Didn't they adopted one of the housewives from New Jersey, I think, something like that.
He has a toddler, I think. He has
he's
like a young.
They both have kids.
Here's why I was disappointed. So the title of the article, and this was basically, we weren't aware, about a week ago, CNN held a town hall for Donald Trump.
Right.
And it was basically an hour and a half long event. I only seen clips, I will admit.
Yeah, I haven't
But they
watched it.
basically invited Trump voters and independent voters to join this forum on, whatever. And so they had, I forgive me, I don't remember her name, but a newer reporter kind of interview him. And like she tried to stand up to like the election lies, but then that all caves immediately. And they're just like, oh, okay, we'll just carry on with the town hall. And of course, it's his people, right? It's a literal rally. It was a terrible idea. It was a disaster for CNN. Their overnight ratings for the last 2 nights have been below Newsmax's ratings.
Ooh.
So people are pissed about this. Lower than Newsmax. Like that's low. Like,
that is bad.
That's bad. And so anyway, Anderson Cooper came out and he basically made this statement. He's like, many of you are upset that someone who attempted to destroy our democracy was invited to sit on the stage in front of a crowd of Republican voters to answer questions and predictably continue to spew lie after lie. Yes, I was upset by that. And I get it. It was disturbing. Yes, it was disturbing. He continues. Now, many of you think CNN shouldn't have given him any platform to speak, and I understand the anger about that, giving him the audience and the time. I get that. And he said, Mr. Cooper said that viewers have every reason to be outraged today and angry and understood if they never wanted to watch the network again. He also warned the town hall's audience, independents and Republicans, accounted for approximately half the U.S. population, and showed that Mr. Trump had winning a second term as he is running hard. Then he challenged viewers. This is where it kind of changes. And this is why this is the best mastercraft and bullshit I have ever seen in my life.
All right.
It is commendable because it is exceptional. So keep in mind, all this like, you have the right to never watch this network again. We know that you've done something outrageous and terrible. But you think staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person go away? If we all only listen to those we agree with, it may actually do the opposite. If lives are allowed to go unchecked, as imperfect as our ability to check them on the stage is real. As imperfect as is our ability to check them is on stage in real time. Those lies continue and those lies spread. So basically, his excuse is, no, we gave us an opportunity for this to be dealt with in real time. Absolute bullshit. You absolutely did not. That is horseshit. And it's kind of scary a little bit that he caved to this. There's this new guy kind of in charge of CNN. He got rid of my man, Don Lemon, which I'm not happy about. We're just, two very over emotional guys. And it's not fair. But I miss Don Lemon. But it really is sad. I probably fucked up the quote a little bit, but it's super subtle, but it's basically saying, oh, it's the same thing. We just need equal time. Like he's a legitimate candidate that half the country believes in.
Yeah, it's a direct.
Who was also, found guilty of sexual assault 48 hours earlier and tried to
joke about it.
Joke about it, yeah.
Right. And that was the funny thing. The only good thing about this town hall, as we know, the Gene Carroll case a few days ago, he was found guilty of defamation and libel. He was not found guilty of rape, but was found guilty of sexual assault and defamation, and was ordered to pay $5 million for that. He said exactly the same shit in this town hall that he did that got him sued in the first place. And so they did an interview and basically were like, oh, yeah, we are absolutely considering suing him again for saying exactly the same thing. So that is the only good thing that happened for this. But I'm just, I guess it's like the bigger point is it's getting really scary because CNN was kind of one of those last bastion. It was the last bastion. I mean, that Washington Post, New York Times to an extent. There's not many left.
Yeah.
And I'm terrified, folks. Anyway.
I mean, it's interesting. I always think I think just briefly, because we don't have cable. We have cable right now, but we had to watch the dog show, so we have cable for a month. But so we have cable. I keep forgetting to watch it. Anyway, that's what I'm doing tonight. As soon as this podcast is done, I'm going to turn on cable. Anyway,
nice.
It's interesting because MSNBC, is considered the left, really. Fox is the right. Newsmax is the way right. Glenn Beck's weird channel is fucking off on its own planet. And CNN is supposed to be the middle ground, right? But if you like, MSNBC doesn't have, like, Fox News has a website, MSNBC doesn't. They just have basically like, but CNN does, and I know it's more liberal biased, but it's still a little bit more centered. I don't know where I was going with this. My point is that I'm gonna watch cable after this. I guess. Yeah.
Yay!
It's funny. I mentioned this one last thought about CNN is I got an email or something from them because I'm like on the mailing list. I watch CNN, and they were like they're doing like a Juneteenth celebration all day, and it's just like I think what they're trying to do is appeal to everyone. I think that's like the new mantra is they're like we're gonna go full out for every sector and be the all news network for everybody, and it's never gonna fucking work.
Yeah.
If
you want to see that, you watch fucking NewsHour on PBS. That's
correct. Right?
Everybody knows that. That's it's only an hour long. You can't watch it all day. It's great, but. Yeah.
I just want to ask a friend. That's all. That's where I want to get my news. I just want to ask a friend. Like, what happened?
Ask a friend.
Just give me I can unsubscribe from everything. I can completely unplug. They can like tell like what kind of a day I've had, so they can lie to me if they want to. Come on to something here.
They found a giant turtle,
nice.
Matt.
Hey, I love it.
You'll love the name of it. Yeah. I just have a couple. So continuing with the penis theme, huge penis mowed into lawn at King Charles's coronation event site.
That was a highlight, yes.
Oh, so good. Apparently some pranksters mowed a giant penis into the lawn of the royal crescent leading up to King Charles's coronation. It was beautiful. Highly recommend giving that a Google.
It does look
my little day.
Yeah,
it was an impressive penis.
It was.
As far as Dick lawn art is concerned, well done, whoever did that. Yes. I don't know if they caught the guy, but
it's no vagina color.
Right, the same guy that was doing those those field circles. The
crop circles.
Crop circles. That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
Is that
Dicks
still
are way more
crop
exciting.
circles still a thing?
It is, weirdly enough. Is
it?
Yeah, it really
no
is.
Shit.
And some people they just do it for fun. They know that we're not aliens, but there's some people who are like, oh, definitely aliens are doing that. And I'm like, oh yeah, those aliens.
Yeah, wink, wink.
Yeah. Those fucking aliens with their fucking John Deeres. They're light years ahead of us. Jesus.
I love it. I love it all.
Carve something in their field and fuck with them. Yeah.
I love that. That was like 90s hysteria for a minute.
It was.
What's happening?
There was a movie about it.
There's a movie about it, that show called Sightings. I don't know if you guys remember that,
but
they reported on that like every week. It was great.
Oh yeah.
And my brother and I, our kids were like, "Oh, what's going on?"
It's amazing how much paranormal shit happened in the 90s that is no longer around. It's incredible. I got all those shows looking for it too, and they can't find shit.
They can't find it. It's not out there anymore. And then my last one is, and I don't want to get into it because it's disgusting. Robert De Niro, 79, welcomes seventh child.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Well,
if you got enough cash,
hey,
if you got enough cash, someone will still take that dick. I'm telling you. That is how it goes. That is a fucking lesson I've learned early in life.
Oh my God. What is up with him and Nick Cannon and God knows who else?
I don't know
Nick Cannon, by the time he's 79, he'll have like 25 kids.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. You have a sentence with Robert De Niro and Nick Cannon's name in it.
That's not necessarily fair.
That's not.
Yeah.
They got a lot of kids, but one of them has to be an incredibly talented actor, and one of them.
That is true. But
it is a little
problems.
It's a little weird, and maybe she could have I don't know. You don't know if he wanted to have a seventh kid.
You don't know that. I don't know.
He's recently divorced too. Because I saw that and I was like, well, because he was married to the same woman for I think 20, 25 years, and so I was like, well, she's probably a little bit. He's since moved on.
I think he met his ex-wife. that movie King of Comedy.
Yes,
She
that's
was in
right.
it, right?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
right. Yeah, they've been married for a long time. So
a
that's what
long
kind of
time.
surprised me. It's like, oh, so
Yeah.
Well,
So anyway,
anyway,
taking that dick. When I said, as I'm able to do it. Actually, is that your last headline, Dawson? Because I have a
that
follow up.
is my last one.
Okay, so
Yes.
I have a follow up to a previous headline that you talked about,
Oh,
maybe
okay.
last time or
Wonderful.
maybe 2 times ago. You
Mm,
talked about
I
the
don't know.
Travis
What
Barker
was it?
Liquid Death.
Oh,
Uh,
yes. Yes, yes, yes.
I
What's up with what's
I
going on with that?
purchased a Liquid Death can at the concert because
Did you?
that was the only bottled
Ah,
water they have. And
okay.
I gave it to Beth, and she was like, "What the fuck is this?" I'm like, "It's just water." I didn't tell her about the anal whatever.
You didn't say any
Yeah,
okay.
she was like, "This is hilarious," and so she took a picture of it and sent it to her friends with her thumb over the water part and just took the Liquid Death thing. Yeah. So I've seen them out in the wild. It was $6 for a 32-ounce can. It was $7 for a 30. It was
$6?
$7
Ugh.
for a 32-ounce can of PBR. So you can guess what I picked. But
Well,
anyway.
yeah,
actually,
obviously.
I have a lot of, not for him, but I like this company is smart. Like they've done a lot of really smart things there because they're in most of the venues here. Because what they promoted was aluminum and
Yeah,
the advantage of having aluminum over
Oh,
plastic,
instead of
and there's
plastic.
no
right.
other super simple marketing. I mean, like Liquid Death thing is like super cheesy, but also kind of captures your monster market, I guess.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I gotta, yeah, don't know who they are, but yeah, it is. But yeah, they've most of the major venues, like the amphitheaters and stuff I've seen, they've switched to that, and it's
I was
so
shocked they didn't have
Liquid Death.
bottled water, and then they're like, "Well, we got Liquid Death," and I'm like, "Well,
What?
that's not carbonated, right?" And he's like, "No, it's just water." I'm like,
It's
"Okay."
just fucking
It's
water
just
in a
water.
can.
Yeah,
That'll be $6.
yeah,
Just water.
exactly.
Enjoy.
He's like, "It's not very
Yeah.
cold. You want a cup of ice?" I was like, "What? Dilute the Liquid Death?"
Oh,
I was like, "Yeah,
that's
give me a cup of
terrible.
ice." Yeah,
Oh god. Wow.
yeah.
Oh, no thanks.
Uh,
Never gonna get it.
All right, let's do some plugs.
you should do
Plugs,
some
do
plugs.
it. All right, Tice, you're up first.
Okay. So a couple. Three. Uh, okay. First off, I went and saw Evil Dead Rising, which is an Evil Dead
Oh,
movie.
how was that?
I went and saw it in the theater by myself. Um,
Oh my God, really?
yeah, and I was there, and there were. So when I bought tickets Friday night. I went to see them Saturday at like I'd say like I think 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, or
Oh, okay.
between 1 and 2. There were only four other people in the theater, and when I got there, those four people were up behind me, and I was, because smart, people watching horror movies, they sit in the last row, so nothing can sneak up on them when they're freaking out,
Mm-hmm.
which is a good move. And so I was there, and the show was getting ready to start, and a guy walks in with who I assume he was his daughter, and she was 11 or 12. And I
No.
was well, I was like, you know what? She can handle this. I can handle this. I'm not like so. It gave me strength to watch the whole movie. It was fine. It was more
Was
scary.
it scary? Because the
It,
trailer scares
it
me,
is
and
sca-
Jonas keeps threatening to put it on. So,
it is scary.
mhm.
Um, but if you're a big fan of the originals, which I am, um, there
Same.
there's it hits all the beats that you want to see. It's got the book.
Okay.
It's got the chainsaw. It's got all the stuff that you think you want to see in an Evil Dead movie, but it's not funny, like absurdly funny. I mean, like I would have liked a little bit more humor in it, but that's the Sam Raimi thing. But anyway, it was good. So I recommend rocking. It is. What's nice is it's a bottle feature, so that's an industry term for like being in one location the whole time. It's like so they call it bottle
That's
episodes
cool.
or whatever.
I
So
don't
Yeah.
they're
think I
in
ever
this
knew that.
instead of being in a cabin in the woods, which all the other ones have been in, except for uh, the medieval one. But you know, this is in an apartment building, and it all takes place in the apartment building except for the prequel, or sorry, the prologue or the post-log. It's kind of confusing, but it does actually really work for me. So I liked it. I would, if you like Evil Dead, it's worth watching. Um, if you don't like Evil Dead and you don't like scary movies, you're not gonna watch it anyway. But I liked it, and the new Necronomicon, the book, is spooky. Like I mean, it makes the old one look pretty tame.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Ugh, God.
yeah. Uh, Anyway,
I'm gonna wait on that a little bit.
actually, to be fair, you know how well, you know what? If you've seen the movie, like it hits all the beats. It made me happy. The whole thing. There's a record that they dig up. Remember in the first one and the second one, they play a record of a recording.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, all the stuff. We saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Very good.
Nice.
Tear jerker. I mean, be
Oh,
prepared
damn it.
to weep a lot. And there's a lot of stuff going on with animal cruelty, which some people were like, "This should be an R-rated movie with all this animal cruelty in it," but it shouldn't be. It's good. It's got a message. Nice thing about it, it's pretty long. Everybody gets a moment. I like that a lot. Script is great. It's very Sean Gunn type of movie. It's the Shauniest,
Mhm.
Gunniest movie I think he's ever made.
Yeah.
The weird thing is I was reading this article about how James Gunn made a point to release the movie in over 600 formats, and I was like, that's interesting. So what that
What?
means is
Why?
that like some theaters have a screen that is X amount, some have a bigger screen, some have Dolby, IMAX, whatever, and
Yeah.
and so he was talking about this format called Screen X. And I looked it up, and there's 2 theaters in town that actually have it. So we went and saw it on Screen X. And so what that is it's your movie theater. You have your screen in front of you, and then
Mhm.
they have screens on the walls all the way up past where your eyeballs behind you. So it's
Really?
270 degrees, and
Oh.
they're like, but you watch the screen in the center. You don't watch the sides, but you get this feeling of it being all around you. Like so, if you're shooting through space,
Right.
it's
That's cool.
it was pretty cool. I highly recommend everyone checking out at least once. I prefer the Dolby Vision. That's my favorite right now. The Dolby theaters, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the Dolby theaters a lot.
How common are releases on that? Do they have them pretty regularly, or
Well, more and more because apparently there's a software process that you can actually use to take some of these films and then it does the thing.
okay,
But
Mhm.
okay,
you also have to keep that in mind when you're. There's 2 ways to do it. It's kind of like IMAX, right? Where, like you can pump up an image to fit an IMAX screen, or you can use an IMAX camera
right,
that actually
right,
fits the
right.
screen. So I know that I think it looked like the new Fast and the Furious movie is going to be available in that format,
Okay,
and,
that
and
makes
the new
sense.
Transformers movie is going to be in that format. But it's definitely do a search in your local town for Screen X and see. It was worth checking out because Sean Gunn was like, sound is in 360
Right.
degrees. You can hear it everywhere. He's like, it makes sense that we would finally have movies that you kind of like do. So, anyways, pretty neat. And it was only a $1 more than Dolby. So, and then finally, oh wait, I have 2 things. I watched this movie called Vengeance. Um, I've been meaning to watch it for years. I think it came out in 2019. I just kept forgetting to watch it. It's written and directed by B.J. Novak, who's one of the writers, and he was a
Yeah.
star of The Office. And it's pretty good. It's about a guy who. Well, here's the premise. It's a pretty good premise. This guy, he's a player. He's a kind of a douchebag, New Yorker guy. He's a journalist.
Mhm.
He's trying to get a podcast because everybody's got podcasts, and he's trying to
Mhm.
get. Anyway, have you seen it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but I have watched the trailer a couple times, and I almost started it like a couple months ago and just didn't do it.
I
There's something about him that bothers me. I can't
Yeah,
figure it out, but
well, he plays like. Well, the thing that bothers me about him is that he's like this douchebag, but he knows that he's kind of like this. He's like the new kind of douchebag, like a
he kind of
hipster.
reminds me of Micah. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. So,
Yeah.
anyway, like the premise of the movie is a guy. The premise of the movie is a guy dates around in New York all the time. He won't commit to anybody. He gets a call in the middle of the night, and
Uh-huh.
it's this guy, and he says, "I have the worst news to tell you. Your girlfriend, she's dead. I'm her brother, blah blah." And he's like, "I'm not your."
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen it. Well, anyway, it's worth watching. It's pretty good. Ashton Kutcher is in it, and he's weirdly phenomenal in the movie. Like,
I feel like Ashton Kutcher, like he's got some chops.
he definitely did his. He did good work in this movie. And
Okay.
so anyway, it's Vengeance. It's kind of like if you listen to podcasts and there's a whole moral about podcasting and the effects, the lasting effects of all that stuff. Anyway, it's worth watching. You can find it practically anywhere for like $3.
Anywhere. I think I've seen it on Amazon Prime, so
Yeah.
I might watch it.
And then the last thing I want to plug is this song that is going through my head constantly. Um, the name of the song is called "I Hate Men," and it's by Little. It's by this woman called Little Carolyn Sue, and you can't find it on Spotify or Amazon. You can't find it anywhere except on Yahoo. Little Carolyn Sue, "I Hate Men." It's just a song. Matt said it's a banger, and I agree with him. And it's about this girl who hates men, and no reason to suspend your disbelief. You believe that she hates men.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the background, this is like old country, like 50s rockin' country. It's great. Anyway,
she gives you reasons. She lays it out there.
She does.
She gives you some examples.
She does.
Of the men she's encountered, and she's decided to hate them.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, all of them. So
so she's gonna
my kind of woman.
Oh yeah, this should be I mean, Taylor Swift has nothing on this lady. That's all I'm saying.
Oh shit.
Yeah, not really. No. I mean, she's still alive, but other than that.
Yeah, that's true. And by the way, Little Carolyn Sue, as far as we know, only put out one song on this 145. No one knows what happened to her. So anyway, she's why mess with perfection? She nailed it. So anyway, those are my
get it.
Those are my plugs.
Smith?
Hey, I only have one. We were on vacation, so we didn't watch a lot of TV. But when we got back, I was a pleasant surprise to see that Air, the movie based upon the Air Jordan sneaker, was on Amazon Prime for free. Totally dope. And excellent film. Really good. I say what you will about the, Ben and Matt, but they tend to make pretty good movies sometimes.
They're great actors and directors, and I don't give a shit.
I agree. Them. No, I thought it was excellent. It's sort of very interesting how I thought they. I don't know if did they ever really show Michael Jordan? I don't know if I can't remember if they were actually show Michael Jordan or not. The way that they
shoot it is that you never really see his face.
You see his perspective.
Yeah. But you never actually hear him. I think you hear him once, and then you just don't see his face the entire time.
Yeah, it was really good.
Which I thought was artistically really well done.
Absolutely, because how do you nobody wants to see.
How do you navigate that? Yeah.
Right. It's kind of interesting. Is he's almost too important to portray in a movie. It's almost like a respect. Yeah. It's almost kind of a respect of that level. And it really is just a very, it's sort of funny because what's the Knight, the guy who owns Nike, but the guy who Ben plays, it's interesting how they play him as sort of this half kind of, not really with it, but it's just a really well done movie, and there's no reason not to watch it. So you probably should.
Yeah,
unless you don't wear shoes.
Yeah,
if you're not into shoes, then maybe
it's on our list. I did read that they were like if they put Michael, I can't remember who was talking about. Maybe it was Ben Affleck. He was like, if we put him on there and we had an actor portray him, it would take you immediately out of the story because you'd be like, that's not Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which is interesting because there's so many historical. Maybe it's just because it's too recent. Maybe he's just too. I don't know. It's an interesting thought process, but it served the film very well, I thought, and it's very good. That's all I had.
It's also got Smith's doppelganger, Jason Bateman.
Oh yeah,
so, Jason. He was very good in it too. Yeah, there's some excellent, just hilarious scenes in this movie too. By the way,
I loved it. I thought it was really good.
It's very funny. Not really a plug, but more of an informative measure. I have gotten into Succession.
Yes,
finally,
we're getting you.
It's good.
We're getting ready to start it.
Yeah,
so happy about this.
You gotta I don't know what was off-putting about it the first time, but once I was hooked. First couple episodes I was in, so it's
so great, right?
It's
Culkin in that is amazing.
They're a lot. I love him, and I love Greg. Greg is my I'm only the start of season 2, so no spoilers.
Okay.
But
not gonna say anything.
it's a like Greg. He's a very honest dude. He's the
It
only good one
gets
of them.
so
At least
tense.
right now. That shit might change, but
Stay
yeah,
tuned.
we'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
There is.
Anyway, that's. Oh, go ahead.
I can't literally plug this, but I meant to watch it, and we just didn't have time this week. But there's a new animated show on Netflix, so I know you won't watch it, but you might because it's created. It's
Every time you say that and set it up, I'm like, wait for it. Wait for the venom. There it is. Okay, go
but
on.
it's by Tina Fey and Robert Carlock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
I like both of them.
it's got Tina Fey's, Sam Richardson, and it's a sci-fi premise. Anyway, I watched one episode. I
What's it called?
Mulligan, yeah, it's called Mulligan,
Mulligan.
and they dropped all 10 episodes. So I'm gonna watch it this week, and hopefully, it's getting good reviews. But the first episode was it was so much story involved. But I mean, it's very much a Tina Fey, Robert Carlock. I mean, the phrasing, the jokes, the layering,
Yeah.
it's all there. So
Okay.
anyway,
I might give it a shot, but as you just said again, not a big fan of animated series.
I know I'm out on my island by
Sorry.
myself with you guys.
My bad. All right, I've got a few. So there's a documentary on Netflix called Facing Nolan about Nolan Ryan's baseball career.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know, like if you guys have wanted to watch it or it's been on the list forever. And when we had major jet lag last Friday and didn't go to that M83 show, we decided to watch that instead. And it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I loved it. That guy's fascinating. And yeah, for any baseball fans, you might enjoy it. So check that out. And then I don't know if we should talk about this yet, but I finally watched Renfield. I know Tyson, you've
Have you
seen
seen
it.
it yet,
Smith,
Matt?
you haven't seen it yet,
No,
right?
but I can put it on my to-do list
Yeah,
so we can
let's talk about it next week.
Yeah, okay. So Smith, that's your homework for this week is to watch Renfield, and then we'll talk about it. But I will say I liked it. And I love Aquafina, and she's in it, and that was enjoyable. So we'll talk about that. As Smith said, go see Air. It's on Amazon Prime. It's freaking great. There is a new movie for rent called Juniper, starring the amazing Charlotte Rampling. It's written and directed by this guy, Matthew Seville. It is brilliant. It's one of the best movies I've seen in years. It's really all about this teenager and his grandmother reconnecting at the end of her life. It's probably the best movie about death and dying I've ever seen. And I just love Charlotte Rampling. There's something about that. She is like my Meryl Streep, amazing woman on screen. I can't say enough things about it. I cried so much after seeing it, and then the next day after thinking about it. Like it's that moving. That also says something about my emotional level lately. So who knows? Anyway, it's beautiful. Check it out.
Is it animated?
No, Tyson. God. And then there's also a new show on HBO Max called White House Plumbers, starring Woody Harrelson and Justin Theroux.
That looks good.
You guys will love it. It is fucking hilarious and infuriating. It's like the dumbest story ever about Watergate. And
we watched the
that's
first
all I'm gonna
episode.
say.
Yeah, it's very funny.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. Justin Theroux as Gordon Liddy is one of my favorite things. Like all around. Yeah, there's so many scenes I want to talk about with you guys. Like when we're together, I'm going to make you watch them. Hopefully you're caught up by then. Yeah. It's great. And then there's a new album. This is my last plug, by the Album Leaf called Future Falling. And I think it's their 7th album. But if you like, relaxing electronic ambient music, you'll love the Album Leaf. And it's beautiful. As usual, I was lucky enough to see them at a music fest in New York back in the day. And they're brilliant. Yeah, they're just what's his name? Justin LaVille or something like that. He's just pumping out the hits constantly. So it's a great great album, especially if you're a recruiter and you need to find people and you're just sourcing. So put it on in the background. I love it. And that's it. Those are my plugs.
Hey.
Very nice. Good
Yes.
plugs,
Plugs.
everybody.
Plugs this is.
All
right.
Hey, you guys got anything else? Yeah.
No, well, one thing we kind of glossed over, Smith, you were in Orlando.
Oh, that's true.
We were.
You said you had
How was it?
It was a good trip. It was actually, we didn't do a whole lot, which was very nice. We just kind of hung out at the timeshare and swam in the lazy river. We did go to SeaWorld one day.
Nice.
Don't go to theme parks. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Unless you're like children, like will leave you if you don't go to the theme parks. They're awful. And no, but it was a good trip. Like it was just we flew this time. We didn't drive, but no, we just kind of relaxed by the pool. Got to see my nephew, which was awesome. So he's 14 months and almost ready to walk, but he's great. So got to see him a lot.
You said you had a story for us because Dawson was something like, I was afraid you were captured by a crocodile or a Republican.
Oh, yes. I did have a story for you. So, glad you reminded me.
I'm glad you remembered that time.
Actually, no, I am too. God damn, the memory on that kid. So,
seriously.
So,
going away.
My parents, and I'm sure you're familiar with this, Tyson. My parents have like a status at the resort we're able to stay at, and so we have like our own little like sort of, I could call it the signature collection. And so there's like it's like a little gated community for you while you're on vacation. And so you're able to go in and you've got like nice chairs and stuff by the lazy pool. And there's a lot of like, reclining chairs and what are they, loungers, I guess, is that what we call those loungers? But there's like 3 or 4 like bigger cabanas, which have like nice big tents.
Chaise Lounge.
Chaise Lounge. Okay, yeah. Very good. French as I
believe.
But they've got like 3 or 4 of these like nice bigger cabanas where there's like, a couple couches and like a lounge. Very, very nice. But they're prime real estate. And so what people will do is they'll go down early in the morning and they would throw their towels on there to reserve them.
Right.
And so I early afternoon, is about 1:00 in the afternoon. I just had a corn dog and a margarita, and I don't know, Florida, goddamn right. And so I'm walking back and I see one of these is available. And it's like, this is like prime afternoon. It's busy. So I'm like, oh, man, this is weird because most of these are reserved. And so I sit there, and then a couple other members of my family join me. And there's this woman that comes by and she's like, I'm glad that you guys got this place. She's like, there's been this guy who's just been sitting here by himself the whole trip. And he comes down here and he sets his stuff down here and he just leaves and he doesn't come back. And so apparently they had just instituted like some new policy where like the staff would come by, and if your table had been like looking like it hadn't moved or nobody had seen you in like a couple hours, they'd leave a little card there and says, hey, if this card isn't picked up in the next hour, we're going to take your stuff to Lost and Found.
Nice.
And so we all get there and we're all having a great time and playing. And this guy, he shows up and he's got like this, veteran's hat on to let everybody know that he was a veteran. He's like ultimate like tan, like, Florida dude. And he just comes up and he's like, what? You just gonna move all my stuff? And like, he was so pissed off at us. Like, we're sitting there playing with the baby and like, he's just like yelling at us. And so everyone else is like around us, just joins in this chorus of like, hey, there's this new policy. You can't leave your stuff there. And he's just like muttering, oh, motherfucker. And just cursing. And just like, it was glorious. And like, it was really funny because he was so angry that we'd taken his cabana for the day because he just couldn't reserve it. So anyway, that was
the man had
a system,
Matt. You ruined his life.
He did. Oh, I'm sure. I know that I ruined that dude's vacation, and I couldn't be more pleased about that. It was so funny because he was just like, his sad ass was like at the end, like just in a normal chair, and then I was in the lazy river one time and I had my fucking Jaws moment where I leaned back and like the dude in the hat was like, God damn it, but because you don't know, right? Like after the whole thing, I was like, shit, are we going to get shot over this? Like, it's not unheard of.
You're not
especially
wrong.
Here. Yeah, what is life?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how far stand to my cabana goes, but yeah, stand your cabana.
Stand by
So anyway,
your companion.
oh, yeah. Very nice. It was lovely weather and just relaxing. It's nice. Got a tan, which is kind of awesome.
That's
I was gonna say,
right
you
here.
look tan.
Thank you. It ends like
Yeah.
right here. It's like that. It's like tan and then like, a race board all the way down.
Well, a tan at our age is basically just pre-cancer. So
That's true. That's true.
So enjoy your white erase board.
Show your melanoma, jerk. All right.
As long as I can.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you both this week.
Likewise.
Or next week. Yeah.
Next week, yeah.
Next week.
Sunday.
Finally
we
got
both
you
fly
here
in
to
Sunday.
Indianapolis.
Yeah, we might. We'll have to talk about it. Maybe we'll do one more before we go, and then maybe we'll do an on-location number.
We could do that.
Yeah.
We could do a remote.
Yeah, remote shot.
We're going to fly Rick out here to help produce. It'll be our second multi-mic, so we'll fly Rick out here to help produce.
He's got to make us some margaritas.
That's right.
So
That's right.
that show fuel. All right, guys. Always a pleasure. I'm going to try this soundbite. Let's just hope.
Give it a shot.
I'll have it working next week, everyone. Sorry. All right, we'll see. Bye.
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 Pumping out the bangers.
Going pretty well.